All right. Yeah, Schmack 'em o'clock. It's Thursday, and that means it's almost human live with Tony Dio,
Yo,
noon, and a first person on here, Joseph Staub, the guy that got me really into Nazareth. Right there, Joseph Staub.
Jesus of Nazareth.
I always owned Hair of the Dog. I had Malice in Wonderland on 8-track and Razamanaz. And what else did I have? I think that's all I had. And Joseph's like hooked me up with all the other ones. Great stuff, man. Proud to be loud and playing the game.
yeah, Loud and Proud's got a 50th anniversary coming up soon.
Yeah,
This month,
I never even
maybe next week. Yeah.
I'll definitely look into that. So happy Halloween. It's coming up next Tuesday.
Mhm.
And it's my brother's birthday too. You know, my brother was born in Sleepy Hollow like I was. He was born in Sleepy Hollow on Halloween.
wow.
Yeah, he's scary. and
Even
so-
scarier, you're his brother. But go ahead.
And just to let you all know, there is going to be a Halloween special on this channel on Tuesday. I made a little video of me talking about freaky things that have happened to me, and I end it with a song nobody has ever heard before, a song that I sang with a band called Necromaniac. So tune in on Tuesday night, and Tuesday in the daytime, I appropriately put up a donation. Somebody sent me a donation, a track-by-track donation of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon versus Roger Waters' Dark Side of the Moon. And that was horrifying.
Ooh.
So I was like, I'm putting this up on Halloween because this shit's scary.
That's rough.
Yeah. So yeah, so hey, Joseph, what's up, dude? How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on. I'm pumped to be here, especially talking about horror movies. As you can see behind me here, I'm a movie guy. So
Yes, I see South Park.
yeah.
I don't know what the green one is. Is that MASH?
Yes.
It is MASH. All right, I'm good. What else can I see up there? South Park, I see. Family Guy.
Is that Rambone?
Hmm?
And
Oh no, that's on the bottom half of the
Oh,
shelf
okay.
here. I don't put that one on camera.
Black Draft. Then I see it. All right, it's all right.
I can't remember. Do any of you remember your very first horror movie? I can't remember.
Yes, and I think it's on my list actually. But and it's funny because I don't really consider it a horror movie because it's kind of kiddie-ish. It's kind of it's you will get to it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the first one I'm going to talk about may be one of the first ones I remember watching.
Yeah.
And because it was on television actually. So
I didn't put my favorite movie of all time, Jaws. I didn't put it on the list because I feel it's more of a adventure movie.
Right. Yeah. And that's how I kind of feel about the movie I put on there too, but it's considered a horror movie. So
what were you going to say?
no. You know what? I think that one was not. That was because that actually came out later. I'm trying to think about what I used to sit up and watch the late night horror movies. They had something when I was a child on a local station. It was called Chiller Theater, and they would show a lot of the Universal flicks, and sometimes they throw some Hammer stuff in, and sometimes it would be, a few more modern things as well. But I don't know. I can't really recall what the first one was.
I was always scared too. Like when I was a child, I could not. If I saw anything blood or somebody with a hammer or axe or whatever, I couldn't watch that. It took me a very long time. Maybe about a year ago, I finally started watching horror movies.
All right, so you can stomach it now, right? You can stomach it now?
Yeah, I can stomach it now. Yeah.
Right on.
What about you, Joseph? You haven't told us.
Yeah. So that one of the movies on my list is probably the one that I most vividly remember seeing a part of it on TV when I was younger, and it messed me up. And I didn't rewatch that particular movie for a while, but ever since it's become one of my favorites of that particular series. But other than like Disney Channel horror movies when I was a kid and stuff like that, all those kind of TV teen stuff, That would have probably been one of the first ones I remember, and I'll talk about that one specifically when we get to it on the list. But yeah, no, just from then on, I really kind of got really into horror. It's always been one of my favorite genres. So I'm excited to talk about this.
Hmm. Oh, Mick Watkins says his first horror flick was Cujo. See, I don't think of it as a horror movie.
Yeah, that's a horror movie. It's that
Yeah.
dog, right?
Yeah, it's a dog.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I just never think of that one. I've seen that one too.
You know, I have it on DVD. I have it burned on a DVD. I can't remember now the name of it. But now I think I know what my first horror movie was. It was a made-for-TV movie that scared the hell out of me. It was a made-for-TV movie in the 70s where there was something down in the basement, and then at the end of the movie, there were like these little gremlin fucks that would grab the woman and pull her down. Who in the chat room knows the name of that movie? I would love to know. I do.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was good, man. It wasn't in the theater. It was a made-for-TV movie, but I ended up getting it on this here. I forgot how I got it, but I do have it on a burned DVD. I wish I could have. Don't go down the basement. No, I don't think that was the name of it, but it was something like that. But all right, guys. So you want to get into our list?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tony, why don't you go first? Oh, wait. Let Joseph go first. He's our
Let's go.
guest.
All righty. So for my number 10, I didn't want to just throw out all of the normal ones, and there are quite a few on my list that are the sort of generic top 10 horror movie picks because they're amazing. So of course I had to include them. But I wanted to include something foreign on my list. And so I'm a huge fan of giallo movies, Dario Argento's sort of Italian horror movies. And for my number 10, I decided to go with Suspiria from 1977, starring Jessica Harper, who we all know from Phantom of the Paradise. She's amazing in this movie as the lead actress. The effects are great. Dario Argento, just as a director, is amazing with color and, of course, the use of Goblin as the soundtrack. So anyone who's seen Dawn of the Dead will know the famous electronic band Goblin that did the soundtrack for Dawn of the Dead. They also did this and a lot of other Dario Argento movies. And so, yeah, no, this is an amazing movie. Anyone who hasn't seen this or any of Dario Argento's stuff, this is definitely a great movie to check out. So Suspiria is my number 10.
Very cool.
Go all the way to 5.
Okay.
This is
For number 9, I had a hard time picking what I would include from the Universal monsters, and so I'm going to give some honorable mentions to the Frankenstein series as a whole, but particularly Bride of Frankenstein, and also to the original Invisible Man with Claude Rains. But for my number 9, I'm going to go with the Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr., probably my favorite of the Universal monster movies. And I think just Lon Chaney Jr.'s acting in this is it's probably the best of any of the lead actors in any of the Universal monster movies because it actually makes you feel for the character. And Larry Talbot, as played by Lon Chaney Jr., is such a great lead character. As always, the effects are great. Jack Pierce's makeup. And yeah, I think this is one of my, if not my favorite, definitely in the running with all the other ones that I mentioned for my favorite Universal horror movie. This is the one I decided to go with for the list. Number 8, I had to put a vampire movie somewhere on the list, and so I'm going with Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Christopher Lee, the second Hammer Dracula movie that he starred in. There was one between the first and this one that he wasn't in, but this is the one where he kind of becomes the infamous vampire. He doesn't really talk at all in this movie. It's all just him out for blood. He's just insane the entire movie. The supporting cast is really, really good, and just like any Hammer movie, the effects are great. And so this is probably my favorite performance of Christopher Lee as Dracula. So Dracula, Prince of Darkness, number 8. Number 7, my favorite of the Friday the 13th series, Friday the 13th Part 2. The infamous sackhead Jason before he gets the hockey mask. I think that the supporting characters in this are really good. The kills are really memorable, and for this Blu-ray set that they just put out, they finally found the original missing effect footage that shows all the uncut kills that they cut, that the MPAA cut in the original theatrical release in '81, and so you get to see all the original effect footage that was originally taken out of this. and it's really cool to see. Unfortunately, it's in really bad quality, so it's not. They weren't able to reinsert it into the movie like you see a lot of Shout Factories. They put the director's cuts out, so you get to see a lot of the gore reinserted into the movie. Unfortunately for this, it was in such bad condition that they weren't able to do that. But it's really still cool to be able to see that footage at all. It was kind of rumored for so many years, and so it's really cool to be able to finally see that. So that's my number 7, I think. And then for my number 6, I'm going to go with another kind of obscure Hammer horror movie, also starring Christopher Lee. It's called The Devil Rides Out. It's a really, really good movie, of course, about the devil. So it's about like a satanic cult. And Christopher Lee is actually the good guy in this movie. So he's the one trying to defeat the satanic cult. And I'm pretty sure, Ralph, one of your various intros on your channel, it shows the clip of the goat at the beginning of it. That clip, I don't know if it was from a music video or something. That clip of the goat is actually taken from this movie.
Yeah, that was from A Number of the Beast, the video.
Yes. So that was actually taken from this movie. In one of the scenes of the cult gathering and summoning Satan. And so there's some really cool stuff in this movie, as far as like a group of people with Christopher Lee leading them, trying to defend against Satan approaching. And so there's all these different weird like plagues that attack them. And eventually like the angel of death rides in on a horse and stuff. And it's some freaky shit, but it's really, really cool depiction of that. And of course, Christopher Lee's great in anything that he's in. So that's my number 6 then.
All right. Tony, give us your 10 to 6.
I want to ask Joseph, the Friday the 13th Part 2 that you showed, what series did you say that was?
It was the big box set that Shout Factory put out last year.
Okay. So it's got them all in one box set.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's a nice box set.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Okay. So I'm gonna go start off here with number 10. It's a movie that was made for TV, and it really just caused me nightmares. And it was Kiss Meets the Phantom. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's actually Salem's Lot.
Oh,
That was one of my
Man.
honorable mentions.
Great Stephen King story.
I own that.
This was originally shown on television in 2 parts, so 2 nights. And God, it was the vampire in there is just so freaky. I mean, he's like a Nosferatu style vampire, it's what he looks like, not like a prim and proper Count Dracula or something. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool story. You got David Soul in it, and the guy that played James at 15, what was his name? Lance Kerwin. And yeah, it was cool, but that it caused me nightmares, that whole scene with the kid in the window when he's knocking on the window. God, that was so freaky. I mean, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. And I mean, I was like probably 10 years old when this came out, So yeah, so Salem's Lot's my first. That was from 1979. Number 9 is going to be a movie from 1988, Night of the Demons. We thought this was a really cool film. These kids go to like a mortuary funeral home. They're invited by this crazy rocker chick, Angela. She's gothy chick, she wants them to come to this party, and they have a seance, and they conjure up some evil spirits, and then everybody starts getting whacked, and Leanna Quigley's in this one. I love Leanna. And yeah, so this is a cool one, Night of the Demons. And so number 8, I don't have a copy of. This is a newer film that's come out in recent years. This was 2016, Terrifier. I think Art the Clown is one of the coolest horror characters to come along in years. I mean, clowns are scary anyway, but Art the Clown is he's freaky. He's got this yuck mouth, just rotten teeth and stuff, man. But he's comical as hell. I mean, he's being a clown. He's being a clown, but he'll fuck you up, I mean, he was originally in this the All Hallows Eve series. And so they give him a spinoff into a Terrorizer movie, a Terrifier movie. And Terrifier, like I said, is a great film. I really love it. I mean, it's just not to give it away, but it's some brutal scenes there. He cuts his chick in half, and it's whack, man. And then Terrifier 2 came out last year, and that was good. I thought it was a good film. I'm looking forward to seeing more of these as they go down the line. But yeah, it's a cool one. Number 7, I gotta pick one of the Friday the 13th. I like a lot of Friday the 13th movies. It is, I think to me, the original 4 are the best. It got kind of kooky after that. And a couple weeks ago, my girlfriend and I went to see part 4, the final chapter. And I was like, this is really good. This is probably my favorite one. It's really cool. It's got Corey Feldman in it, and he's like this little kid. He ends up, taking out Jason at the end and all. It's crazy the way he figured out things to make it kind of come all into play at the end. And yeah, it's crazy. And I love rock and metal and stuff in movies. And I remember it had "Love Is a Lie" by Lion in one scene, and Crispin Glover's like doing the Elaine dance to it or something, And I tripped my girlfriend out. I said, "Yeah, I know who this is." And she's like, "Who is it?" And I'm like, "It's Lion." She's like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Lion." I said, "We saw Doug Aldrich in The Dead Days." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "He was in Lion."
Well, the rumor was that they actually used Back in Black when they originally filmed that. That it was supposed to be Back in Black, but they couldn't get the rights. AC/DC wouldn't give them the rights.
Well, maybe that's why Crispin Glover's dance does not fit the beat of the music. It's like, like I said, he looks like he's doing the Elaine dance from Seinfeld, because it just doesn't fit with what's playing, So number 6 is going to go back to where I was talking about, rock and metal in movies. Going to go with Black Roses, that came out in 1988. And it's just, this is during the Satanic Panic period. So you have, a lot of stuff with Satanism and heavy metal. So this heavy metal band comes to a town to put on some concerts, and the local, groups, parent groups and all, don't want them to be there or whatever. And they go to meet the band to see what their kids are going to see. And the band basically puts on a very clean cut performance for them. And, but they're really like demons, and they're there to just wreak havoc on all the kids in the town. And so it's got a great soundtrack. Carmine Appice is actually in the film. He plays the drummer in the film. But some of the guys from King Cobra, Carmine Appice and Mark Free or Marcy Free, and David Michael Phillips and Alex Massey do the main new tracks that are on it. But it's got Lizzie Borden on it, Bang Tango, and Hal's Eve is in it doing DIE is in one scene.
Death
in Effect. Yeah. So yeah, but I love that one. That's a great one. So that's my first 5.
All right, Wayne, give us your first one.
Very cool. Well, now these are going to be new because, like I said earlier, I wasn't into horror movies when I was younger. And like maybe 25-ish years ago, a girlfriend I had, she was into horror movies. And then when I met my wife, she was like even more into horror movies. So when we got together, that's all we ever watched was horror movies. So a lot of these are going to be newer stuff. Number 10, Insidious. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen like maybe up to the 3rd movie. But the first one was, I think, the best. And that's the one with the people where they think their son is in a coma, but he ends up being like this astral projection. He can do like this astral projection thing in his sleep, and the kid doesn't know he does it. And they're trying to get his kid back because this guy from another purgatory dimension thing or whatever has him. And so they're trying to get him back or whatever. But it's a really, really great movie. Anybody seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? You'll definitely check it out. It's really creepy. Some of the things that are in there's like this guy with his red face. He's standing behind the father, and it's really fucking creepy. Number 9, Would You Rather? This movie is about a woman that goes to a dinner party where she partakes in life-threatening games to help her sick brother get a donor after he's diagnosed with leukemia. And there's this one scene in there where these people have to like cut their eye with a razor blade. And I don't like things when people cut their eyes with razor blades or anything. I can deal with pokes and gouges, but once razor blades happen, I'm done. But pretty sick movie. So check that one out.
The whipping scene with the guy whipping the guy with the
Yes.
switch. Oh,
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, it's pretty brutal. House of the Devil. This one came out in 2009. It's about a girl who takes a job because she just needed to make money, and she thought she was going to be babysitting. It turns out she wasn't babysitting a baby; she was babysitting this guy's mother-in-law. Bunch of stuff happens in the movie. She wakes up in the middle of a ritual with this old woman, and the ending is fucked up, but it's really good. And it's also they made it look like it was made like in the 80s, so they did a really awesome job with that movie.
Yeah, that was a good one. I saw that recently.
Yeah. Number 7, The Ritual. This is a Netflix movie. It's from 2017. A group of guys get together after one of their friends dies. They go out for a hike in the woods. It starts raining, so they find this cabin, and inside the cabin they find like this decapitated human torso made with like these twigs or whatever, and like these antlers for hands. Again, shit happens. Overnight, they try to leave the woods, but they end up getting lost and end up in this village where they find human sacrifices for this. I can't pronounce it. It's like a joke. It looks like this gigantic moose. And they show it in the movie, and he turns around. And it looks like a moose, and it's got like this body on its face, and with another body, like with these hands and stuff. It's really fucking creepy. It's awesome though. It's a really really good Netflix movie.
I watched a preview for that. Yeah, I have to
definitely watch it. It is really good. Number 6, Trick or Treat. Not the newer one, but this is the one with Ozzy and
God.
Simmons.
And
I love this movie. And Skippy, yes. But we did a thing on this last year, Rat Salad Review. But I thought it was really funny. I didn't expect much from it. I thought it was just going to be a shitty 80s horror movie, but it ended up being fun. I thought it was really good. And it was a lot of metal stuff in there. So it was really cool to see all these records and shit in there. That's what I thought that was fun. Number 5, Evil Dead. I like both. I like the original and I also like the remake, but the original is special because of all the animation and stuff that they did in there with all those monsters and stuff. Just to think that all the work that they put into that with all that animation and all that clay animation stuff that they did was just a really awesome movie and a lot of great visuals in that. So it was really good.
All right. I'll go with my first 5. Now, mind you, I'm an old guy, so all my shit's old.
I figured that.
The first one's a remake, but remakes were awesome in 1978. You can remake a movie in the 70s and it'll be better than the original.
Yeah.
And this is a case of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. What an awesome, thrilling, crazy, and amazing ending. I love movies that end bleak. It's like, oh no, there's no happy ending here. Invasion of Body Snatchers, and I saw that as a little kid in the theater, and it had a severe effect on me.
That's the one with the version with Jeff Goldblum in it, right?
Jeff Goldblum,
Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland, yeah.
Nancy, I forgot her last name. But yeah, man, what a great movie. And it held up, man, because I watched that movie like a year ago, and it's still great. It's still thrilling, and how Leonard Nimoy kind of like tricked them all. He was actually a pod guy, but you wouldn't have known it.
That's right, yeah. I haven't seen that in years.
Number 9 has to have the most dangerous scene in any movie, where there's a scene in this movie where the guy explains to this other dude how to be a successful serial killer. And he makes so much sense. Kill, go to the next town. Kill, go, keep. I'm talking about Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Of a serial killer.
Yeah.
A messed up movie. Dude, that scene when they're watching back the videotape where they kill the family and the little boy in front of the mom. That movie is beyond brutal.
It is.
But it's that little dialogue part that fucks me up. It's like anybody that watches this movie, Henry makes a lot of sense how to be a successful serial killer. And in this movie, he doesn't get caught. It makes sense. Kill, go to the next town, kill, and kill like randomly, They'll never find you because it's like no motive, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I remember seeing when Walking Dead first came on. I hadn't seen that actor in forever. I was like, that's fucking Henry. He played Daryl's brother. What was his name? And he's also in Guardian of the Galaxy.
He's in a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
He's been around forever.
I hadn't thought about him in years. Yeah.
Mhm.
He's
that-
awesome. He's awesome in Cliffhanger. Man, if anybody hasn't seen Cliffhanger, that's one of the greatest Sylvester Stallone movies.
Yeah.
Definitely his most underrated. That movie is awesome. And he's in it. All right. Number 8 is a 3-way tie. Because honestly, okay, I'll give the slight nods to the original, but I still think part 2 and part 3 are amazing. And I'm talking about the Omen trilogy. And I can't say that a lot about, sequels where they can match or get really close to the original. And I thought part 1 was like my favorite. I saw it in the theater. A little kid, that decapitated part totally messed me up as a little kid. Part 2 was awesome. He's becoming a little teenager. And what's really weird is all 3 of these Damians look alike. The little baby Damien, when you see him as a teenager, kind of like, yeah, I can see the similarities. Then the father, then the old guy, the older, I can see the similarity. They all kind of look alike. And it was an awesome movie. So that is my number 8. My number 7 should be higher. And it's another one that has kind of a freaky ending. And definitely John Carpenter's greatest movie, in my opinion. The Thing. Oh, man, that movie. That movie's messed up, man. It's should be higher. Absolutely love The Thing. It's definitely up there. One of my favorites. All right,
I
number.
haven't watched it.
You haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's a messed up movie. It's awesome though. Now where am I? Number 6. I'm gonna go with Dawn of the Dead, the original. But I gotta tell you, man, the remake is awesome. The remake, the zombies ran, which was crazy. Hold on. I gotta turn something off here. But yeah, that would be my that would definitely be my number 6. The original in the mall, the craziness. I love George Romero movies. I love Night of the Living Dead. Didn't make my list, but I love it. But yeah, and my old guitar player, refuses to watch Dawn of the Dead remake. He just finds it so blasphemous. And I always tell him, dude, that movie is awesome. Not as good as the original. You can't top the original, but it's still damn good. I think it's the last remake I saw that was any good. So that is my first 5. All right, Joseph, give us your top 5.
All righty. So all but one of my top 5 are pretty normal heavy hitters of horror. My number 5 is a movie that is so amazing, but the sequels became less and less so, and weren't even horror movies. And that is Ridley Scott's Alien.
Oh yeah.
What a freaking movie. I mean, if anyone tries to tell you the first Alien is not a horror movie, yes, it is.
Oh, it's a total horror movie.
100%. I mean, just all the scenes of the tension it builds, and then when they find the egg, and then the egg jumps out on John Hurt's face, and then of course the chest burst scene, and then when the captain's crawling through the vents, and he turns around and it's just right there. Oh, so many great, amazing scenes in this movie, and it's definitely a horror movie. None of the sequels are horror movies, but the original definitely is, and it's one of the best by far. So my number 4 is the movie that I mentioned that I saw just a little bit of on TV when I was younger, and it did me in, and it took me years to get back into this movie. And that is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Hell yeah.
When I saw the scene on TV of the kid getting his head like messed up from watching the commercial, when he has the pumpkin mask on and the snakes are coming out of his head and it kills the parents, I was like 7 or 8 years old, and that scene messed me up. And it took me several years to get back into this movie, but this was a movie that everyone always said for years when I was really getting into horror movies, this was kind of the movie. Oh no, that movie sucks. That movie sucks. It's not even a Halloween movie. No, that movie's awful. And then I watched, I'm like, this movie's amazing. I mean, Tom Atkins as the lead character is just hilarious. And all the kills are so inventive, and the special effects, and just the robot henchmen that are just literally just decapitate you just by pulling your head clean off your body. and it's just such an amazing movie. And of course, I have to give some props to the original as well. As an honorable mention, the original 1978 Halloween is an absolute classic and definitely deserves to be on any top 10 list. But Halloween 3 is my favorite of that series. It's just such an amazing, underrated horror movie.
Yeah, I didn't see Halloween 3 for many years because when it first came out, that's when it was originally really bad. Oh, Michael Myers is not in it. It sucks, blah, blah. So I didn't watch it until years later. And when I finally see it, there is a similarity to that movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
There's a big similarity, that hidden kind of like, society pushing the pumpkins and all that. It was the same thing as pushing the pods. All right, there you go. So I love it, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great movie.
So my number 3 is one that Ralph just mentioned, and that is my favorite John Carpenter movie, The Thing. Just probably the best special effects in any horror movie ever made. I mean, just the amount of practical special effects on all the transformations and all just these insane creatures that are just popping up out of nowhere. And when the dog's face peels back, and just so many amazing, just terrifying scenes in this movie. And then, of course, Kurt Russell plays an amazing lead character, but all the characters are so interesting that you really don't know, is one of them the Thing, or have they started transforming? Is anything going on? And then just as they start mistrusting each other more and more, and then they all start turning on each other, and then eventually shit just hits the fan, and it's just such a great, crazy second half of the movie. But a little bit of a plug for something that hasn't come out yet. Last Friday, I talked for about 4.5 hours with Eddie Canistracci and Eric Jordan, RMCP, for their podcast, all about John Carpenter movies. And so I think they're putting that out as a Halloween special on Halloween. So keep an eye out for that. If you want to hear 3 guys just kissing John Carpenter's ass for 4.5 hours, if that's your thing, definitely check that out. My number 2, a movie that I cannot believe in 2023 people have the gall to say, oh, well, it's not that scary. It's not that scary. Yes, The Exorcist is that scary. It is still a terrifying movie. I don't care if you've seen all these other movies and the stuff that goes on in this movie just subliminally is creepy as hell. And just all the little scenes where just for half a second you see the demon face pop up on the screen, and the dream sequences, and just everything that Regan goes through, and then just all the stuff, just the little sounds that you hear in the background that you're not even, it's just subliminally telling you there's some fucked up shit going on in this house. And I definitely also have to give a huge shout out to The Exorcist 3 as well. I think that is almost as good as The Exorcist 1. George C. Scott's amazing in it. Brad Dourif is amazing as the demon. And then I think it's just so close to getting the spirit of the original, but I don't think anything tops the original. So that's my number 2 is The Exorcist. And then my number 1, I know Ralph said he didn't include it because it's more of an adventure movie, but I'll tell you what, I don't think anything will ever top Jaws. I don't think.
Hey, it's the greatest movie ever made.
It is. It is. It is by far my favorite movie ever made. And I think it is, at least at certain points, a horror. For a good chunk of the first half, this is a horror movie. I mean, the opening scene with the girl dying, Alex Kittner,
Ben Gardner's
boat. And then even in the second half, when the adventure part's going on, I mean, you can't tell me that sitting there listening to Quint tell the story of the USS Indianapolis is not freaky as hell. And then you just hear the beeping. You hear the beeping of the barrels as the shark's getting closer to the boat, and then the shark attacks the boat. And I mean, even in the parts where it starts to become more of an adventure movie, there's still some scary stuff going on. And
yeah. There is.
Yeah.
I didn't want to add it because I know I'd put it at number 1.
Yeah.
Where actually my second favorite movie over time is my number 1.
There we go.
All right, so
I'm still scared to go in the water because of that movie.
and greatest scene ever is the Indianapolis speech. the
Yep.
greatest scene ever. I wrote a song to that speech.
I have the album that you wrote the song to that
Yeah.
speech.
Ripped to pieces. I got what Quinn said and I made it rhyme. Yeah, love it. All right, Tony, give us your
Yeah.
top.
I had considered Jaws myself, but I look at it more as a suspenseful type, film than more than a horror film. But you're right. I mean, the opening part of it, it really is. So we're gonna go number 5. Got to go with what Joseph said earlier. I mean, The Exorcist. I mean, it's just God. It freaked me out. I mean, I didn't see this movie until God. I was in my early teens, and there was like a late night showing of it, and I went. It was like a double feature with something else, and God, they showed this first, and it freaked me out to the point where I almost just left and went home because I was. It really did. It's very disturbing, and to think
I think it is. I think it's more disturbing than it is scary.
Well, yeah, but it's enough disturbing to freak you out and make you scared. That's for sure. I mean, you're sitting in a movie theater watching, and it's dark and it's cold in there as well.
You also have to remember in 1973 was a completely different.
Yeah.
And there's people that threw up during this movie,
Mhm.
people that ran out of the theater and went straight to church. Like you see it in the extras on the Exorcist Blu-ray, all the stuff that happened. People passing out and yelling, "Oh my God!" I mean, because it was such a different world back then. And you watch it today, it's still disturbing. It was magnified back then, like way
Oh
more.
yeah, sure. I'm sure in 1973. Like I said, I was early teens when I saw it, but I had heard about it. I mean, it was infamous, So
that's why I think people don't think it's as bad today, because there's just been so much shit that's happened since that originally came out. There's been like worse things. But from back then when that came out, people were a lot more religious back then too. So I could understand it being fucked up back then.
So number 4, I'm gonna go with, like I said earlier, I used to watch Chiller Theater would come on on Friday nights. I would always watch NWA wrestling, and then that would go off, and after that they had Chiller Theater, and it would mostly be older films, black and white, Universal horror, and that's when I first saw the 1931 Dracula.
Yeah.
I was just eat up with it at that time. I had a book. I think I've still got the book. It's called Movie Monsters, and I had that when I was a kid. I checked it out at the library. I don't know how many times at the school library, because it was just so cool. It was mostly about Universal horror, and I eventually found a copy of it some years later, but to own. But yeah, I mean, it's just. Bela Lugosi is the best Dracula ever in my book.
Yeah,
And,
mine too.
and then you got Dwight Fry doing Renfield, and just the banter between the two and what goes on is so amazing. And so I mean, there's been some great vampire films, but still the best Dracula is Bela Lugosi for sure. Number 3, another movie that freaked me out when I was a kid, before I ever even saw it, is The Shining. And it's, I mean, just the thought of a guy he loses his mind basically, and tries to hack up his family. He's out in the middle of nowhere. And but I remember when I was a kid seeing the commercial for The Shining, and it would air on commercials on TV, and it was that scene of Jack turning around really menacing looking, and that used to just freak the shit out of me, and I was like, I don't want to go see that. That's just gonna be scary, and I was a little kid, so. But yeah, so I mean, what is it, like 1980? So yeah, so I was 10, but it freaked me out. But then I didn't see it until maybe 3 or 4 years later. It was the first time I actually saw it. And I actually like the remake they did. I mean, just nothing will top the original, but they did a remake made for TV that was in several parts that some of you guys don't remember. It had the guy that played he was on that show Wings, an actor. He played the Jack Nicholson role, and
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like
I
the
thought that was very well done because it was more after reading the book later on. I read the book after I saw the movie, and the made for TV was more in depth like the book was. But still, one of the craziest things is when that chick gets out of the tub and starts hugging him, and he pulls away, and she's that old lady. And I was like, God, that's just fucking freaky as hell, you know. So number 2, somebody mentioned it earlier. Trick or Treat. Love this. Love my rock and roll horror flicks. Trick or Treat's is so great. I don't know. I'd love to get a official DVD of it. I had a VHS one time, but somewhere lost it along the line. But
Well, they're doing a reissue of it.
Yeah, this crappy version on DVD where they put Ozzy and Gene Simmons, probably the worst picture they could find of Gene Simmons on it. I mean, that's scary right there, you know.
And both those pictures were taken in an era that wasn't when they did
exactly.
Yeah.
Those are both later pictures.
For people that don't know, you know, so the film, you know, it's got the guy Mark Price who played Skippy on Family Ties. He's a metalhead in high school, and he loves this guy named Sammy Kerr, a rock star, and Sammy dies in a fire, and he's recorded an album with some backwards masking on it, and the Gene Simmons is a local DJ. He gets the acetate or a copy. He's going to play it at midnight on Halloween, and he lets Skippy take it home, and he makes a copy, and he ends up playing the record backwards, and he brings Sammy back to life. Sammy Kerr comes back. Sammy Kerr is played by some guy that used to be like a solid gold dancer, and I forget what is Tony Fields, I think was his name.
He died of AIDS.
Yeah, he did. He was in the Michael Jackson "Beat It" video as well.
Oh, was he? Hey, you know what I heard, Tony? I don't know if any of you have heard this. I heard one of the dancers in the Beat It video was Tracy Guns. Did you ever hear that story?
No, but I did hear that they asked Blackie Lawless to play the role of Sammy Kerr, and he didn't want to lip sync to someone else's music because Fastway did the soundtrack. Fast Eddie Clark's band, they did the soundtrack to the movie, and it's like this is where they do all the music on this, not any other bands on the soundtrack. Now there was we talked about in the early episode, there's a version of "Screaming Till You Like It" that Wasp covered later. The original version by Paul Sabu is playing in the studio when they go to the DJ when he goes to meet Gene Simmons.
It's in the movie.
Yeah, it's screaming you can hear the original "Screaming Till You Like It" playing in the background, you know, at the radio station. But yeah, they filmed that movie in my home state of North Carolina. They filmed it in Wilmington, and I've met a couple people over the years that were in it, like in the concert scene at the high school. There's a local musician who was very well thought of that passed away a couple years ago, and they do like a little benefit thing in his name, some trust fund every year. But he played the drummer in the video that spontaneously combusted, I guess, you know, like Spinal Tap, but when Sammy pretty much shot him down, you know. But yeah, that was supposedly like a local band. They just pulled him in, and then they gathered all these people in for extras and stuff. But yeah, I loved it. I saw that movie the opening weekend that it happened. I had this crush on this girl, asked her out. We went. It was that weekend, you know, the opening weekend of that movie. And I've always loved it. And love the soundtrack. Theater, huh? Yeah.
Really? I didn't know.
You know, when I did the Blackie Lawless meet and greet, that was one of the questions they asked him. And what he said was they gave him the script. And he read it and he said, "This is terrible. I want nothing to do with this. This sucks." And then he went to the theater and saw it after it was done. He's like, they changed the movie completely. Like, he loved it. It was nothing like the script. So he was pissed off. And he was also supposed to be Terminator in Terminator 2, but he was too tall. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't like that he was too tall. But he almost did the Terminator in Terminator 2.
So he thought the script for Trick or Treat was bad, but apparently the Crimson Idol is some great masterpiece.
Hey, I like the Crimson Idol.
But Tony, have you seen that? I bought the bonus that horrible.
What re-idolized?
Yeah, I bought it.
Yeah, I did as well. I bought it
because it brought the movie, and the movie's terrible. It's like, what the hell am I watching?
I wanted to see the movie because I had I had the short film for it years ago on a promo tape, and I just want to see the whole thing. But so anyhow, that's Trick or Treat at number 2. And like I said, man, I love my cheesy B horror movies. And there's movies that you like so much you can just recite stuff. I mean, we all recite stuff from Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark, stuff that we grew up with. Jaws, for instance, we can recite lines. Well, I can pretty much recite this movie, and you guys know I love it because you've seen me do some stuff with it before. It's Rocktober Blood. It's one of the cheesiest B movies ever. It's just this rock star. Basically, he kills some people in a recording studio one night, and he gets executed for it. You don't see the executionist, but it just tells you like years later, a couple years later, or whatever. The band's trying to go on or whatever, and he comes back from the grave to get his revenge. And I won't, if anybody wants to watch it, I won't give the plot too much into what really happens. But he's doing like a theatrical stage show. This band called Headmistress. They're doing a stage show, and they're killing people on stage and like these slave girls, but he's really doing it. He's really killing them. They think everybody in the audience thinks it's fake. But the thing that really turned me on, when somebody turned me on to this movie in the late 80s, and I love the music in it, I was like, God, this is killer. It sounds like almost like the singer sounds like a King Diamond type of guy. He's got like falsetto voice, and the songs are just really cool. And I found out that a guy that I knew, he said, well, I got a soundtrack for that. He said it was only released to radio. You can only get it through, the radio stations got it to promote the movie. So it turns out the band Sorcery is the band that did the music in it. Sorcery is also famous for being in a movie called Stunt Rock, which is another crazy whacked out B movie about a stunt man with a rock show. And but they were a real band from California. Dick Clark managed them. They put on a theatrical stage show. So they're in the movie, and they play the band Headmistress. And the vocals in the movie are by a guy named Nigel Benjamin, who was in the band Mott, which was an offshoot of Mott the Hoople. And he later sang in that band, the London, that Nikki Sixx and Blackie Lawless, I think, had been in at one point. But he's got that very unique voice. He plays the road manager in the movie. So the actor that plays Billy, the lead singer, killer guy, is just lip syncing to his vocals. But it's really cool. And so I finally got my friend made me a copy of the soundtrack. It had all the songs on it. It was really cool. And eventually later on, King Fowley had it. He made me even better copy and burned it on a CD for me. And then a couple of years ago, Lunaris Records finally put it out officially. So I was so happy to get a copy of it, because that was my top want on Discogs, was an original copy of that on vinyl, and it's really hard to get if you can find one. So, but yeah, it's a cool flick. I'm like I said, I'm a huge fan of. Me and my girlfriend even did a photo shoot last Halloween where I was Billy, and I was like stalking her in a record store, and I go out and murder her, and we did this photo shoot. And I put a little montage together because I turned her on to it. And she digs it too. She even bought me the original, the actual Fang face that we talked about with Halloween.
Yeah.
Bought me the Fang face mask a couple years back, but it's the official one that they sell at one of the mask studios makes. But yeah, that's going to be my number one.
I got to see that. I haven't seen that movie.
Me neither.
Yeah, you dig it, man. It's on YouTube.
Oh, is it the complete movie? Awesome.
Yeah, completely on YouTube.
I'll check it out tonight.
It's one of those films that it's really hacked up. Sometimes you go, wow, I'd love to see like them go back, and there had to be a lot of stuff cut out of it because the editing is really hacked in it, But like I said, man, I love my B horror movies. Thank goodness for Tubi, because Tubi has some of the best horror flicks, and all the B movies and C movies, everything are on there, man. You can find some good stuff on that channel.
Tubi is free, right?
Free.
Yeah. Free with commercials. Yeah.
I don't mind.
No.
Wayne minds. Wayne's anti-commercial.
I only watch commercials. I don't.
They got a lot of good music documentaries on Tubi.
Yeah.
Well,
It's my top 10 favorite commercials.
Yeah, Wayne turns it off when it goes back to the movie.
Yeah, they suck. And I also can't count because I already did my number 5. So I'm going to start at number 4. And Tony mentioned this earlier, Terrifier, the first one. We already talked about it. And it really doesn't have a plot, but it's a really cool movie. You know, I'm just got those two girls that kind of get lost and try to find somewhere to go and get home and waiting for their sister. And then all of a sudden, Art the Clown comes out and just chases them around. I really wasn't expecting, because a guy at my job, he always wore this shirt with Art the Clown on it. I'm like, what is that? You know, it's, you know, he tells me it's like his favorite movie. So I watched it, and I didn't expect it to be so gory and as brutal as it is. Like the pizza parlor scene when he cuts the guy's head off and he turns that into a pumpkin, and like you mentioned, cutting a girl in half. It's a very brutal movie, but
Yeah,
it's
very brutal.
very, very good, very good. Number 3, Joseph kind of mentioned it before, but he likes Halloween 3. I like Halloween 1. It's just a really great movie. Everybody's seen it, so we're gonna have to talk about it. Number 2, this is a movie I mentioned that I think it's one of my first horror movies I've ever seen, but I really never considered a horror movie, but apparently it is. Gremlins, the first Gremlins. Those little, you know, the actual gremlins, they, you know, when I was younger, it was probably maybe about 7 or 8 years old or whatever, you know, they scare the hell out of you, but it's a funny movie, so you can kind of get through it when you're younger. It doesn't really bother you too much, but it's just an awesome movie. And I watched it not too long ago with my son, and he actually loved it, so it's a good movie. And my number 1 is going to be actually Terrifier 2. It's unlike the first one. It does have a story, but it's a little longer. It's 2.5 hours, so I think they could have shortened it a little bit, because I do like it around an hour and a half, like the first movie is.
Yeah.
But I do like some of this in between scenes where he's like, you know, in that school type scene. I don't know. Did anybody see the second Terrifier movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, like the laundromat scene was just like the best. You know, he was hanging out. And then the little girl appears. Remember?
Oh yeah. That little girl, freaking, that she was very creepy, and then she
Like
just shits on the floor.
He sees her. It's like that's
Yeah.
given a different reading on his mind. He sees her. Nobody else sees her.
Right.
You know?
And there was just so many funny things, like when he goes to the girl's door and he knocks on the door, and then he's just like not there, and then all of a sudden he's there, and then that one scene, and I use it as my picture on Zoom here, where he's got the sunflower glasses in that magic shop or whatever, no, the Halloween shop. There's just so many funny things in that movie, and just so many brutal things, and especially that one scene where he kills that daughter, that woman's daughter, and makes him like into this puppet thing. It's just
God, yeah, that was.
I did not expect
brutal.
that. You know, the first movie had the world split in half, and I did not expect that. You know, I was like, oh God. But it's just such an awesome movie, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. You know, and like I said, I'm kind of a new horror fan, but that just blows my mind, that movie. So, and I just have some honorable mentions that I will get to.
Yeah, the kid in there, he's like a little metalhead. He does a podcast where called Little Punk People. But he had you could tell they must have hit Metal Blade up for some posters, because they had all these Metal Blade posters on his wall. King
he actually plays music too, but he plays like acoustic stuff. But yeah, I do want to get him on the show.
I know Little Punk People. What was he in? He was in one of these movies?
Yeah, he's in Terrifier 2. He's actually one of the stars of the movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You gotta watch it, Ralph. It's good. You'll like it.
Hey, Wayne, I can't get in the chat. Is anybody leaving comments?
There is a lot of stuff going on in the chat.
Yeah,
I want to.
I want to apologize because my girlfriend made a top 10, and
she did. She did. I was going to get to it.
Can you run it down? Let's get first top 10.
Yeah, it's at the top here somewhere. Talk. So I'm
all right. I'll go through my 5 while you look for it.
I found her top 10. So hold on a minute. Brenda's top 10. The Funhouse. Number 9. Suspiria.
Yeah, I have that.
8, Ghost Story. Number 7, Dracula. Number 6, The Challenging. Number 5, Dr. Sleep. Number 4, Halloween. Number 3, The Exorcist 2. Oh no, The Exorcist. Sorry. Number 2, The Thing, and number 1, The Shining.
Nice.
I've never, as much as I love The Shining, I've never seen Dr. Sleep. I need to.
I have it on DVD.
Dude, Dr. Sleep. And you need to watch the extended version. All right, that was a great list there.
Yeah, good list. Some other stuff: Pet Cemetery, Black Roses. Never saw that. Pumpkinhead.
Great one. Yeah.
Race with the Devil. I never heard of that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's in my honorable mentions, actually.
That's a really good one.
The Devil Rides Out. The Gate. Never heard of that.
That was a cool one.
Yeah, the gate was cool. I see.
Somebody wants to know if we can consider the Rocky Horror Picture Show a horror movie.
So nobody's mentioned the Texas Chainsaw Massacre yet. Yeah.
Somebody did mention that, and we haven't mentioned it. I was gonna put it on my list, but I don't. There's just so many movies you can only do. So
Ralph,
much.
it might be Ralph's.
The Brainiac, Body Snatchers, Thing. Somebody mentioned that already. Dawn of the Dead. So the Halloween. Yeah, there's a lot of chat going on here.
All right. Well, I'll go into my top 5. Number 5, it's part 1. I don't really have a big problem with the sequels, but the sequels don't come close to part 1, even though some people will beg to differ.
Talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, and I love part 2 of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Which movie?
Oh
you talking-
yeah.
Part 2 of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is awesome. With
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper,
Yeah.
that was great. But
Yeah.
my number 5 is the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay.
That movie fucked me up, man. When I saw it in the theater, when
Yes.
it was new, what a great concept for a horror movie. And it just took over. You know, everything was Mike Myers and Jason. Then Freddy came along and just blew everybody away with that one movie. After that, it became, you know, Freddy was a fucking superhero and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Part one. The way it would run at you and laugh was awesome. He became like, you know, he would do all these crazy stuff later on, but in this one it was very organic and crazy and still a little demented.
What'd you think of the remake? Terrible.
Oh, I hated it. And I
So
saw
bad.
it. I saw it in the theater, and I'm a big fan of Jackie Earl Haley. I love that guy. And I was thinking he'd be good. Yeah, let's go check out this movie. It was just a bad movie.
So
it wasn't his
bad.
fault, you know.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
All right, at number 4, Dr. Sleep, all the way up there. And it's a new movie. It's a newer movie. That movie, I'll tell you this. Not since I was a little kid in the 70s did I ever. I went to go back to the theater to see Jaws, to see Foul Play, to see Star Wars when I was a little kid. But I never went back to the theater ever again to see the same movie until Dr. Sleep. I saw that movie, and like the next night, because I lived across the street from the theater, next night I couldn't help it. I want to go see this again. That movie was it's so damn good. And it's so damn underrated because it was a flop. And it's a flop because it's called Dr. Sleep. There's no mention of Shining. You have to really know your shit to know if it was a Shining sequel, but it is a sequel to The Shining where Danny grew up, alcoholic, and all this freaky shit happens. And Rose the Hat, one of the greatest villains ever, is in that movie. Dr. Sleep, I highly recommend it.
Does Danny still talk through his finger?
Did he? I don't remember he did. No,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think he did. But God, I recommend that movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out for sure.
It's definitely worth seeing the extended version. You know, extended version is like 2.5. I think the original is at 2 hours, extended 2.5. But man, there's some killer scenes they left off. You know. All right, that's my number 2. At number 3, Wayne mentioned it. And yes, I'm going with the very first Evil Dead. That first Evil Dead movie was another movie I saw. I saw it in one of those cheap theaters where it was like, you know, $1 you could see two movies. Never heard of Evil Dead. You know, it was out maybe like a year already when I saw it. Because I'll never forget driving through a ghetto like 4 years later, and we drove by a video store that had a poster of Evil Dead 2. I was like, holy shit. But Evil Dead 1 with the pencil and the ankle, and oh my God, and all that gooey stuff, and God damn. Part 2 is awesome, don't get me wrong, but they had more money for part 2. Part 1, you can tell it's a cheap production, but it's eerie as all hell. Them going down to the basement is scary as all hell without anything happening. It's just a vibe. The picture quality of the movie too. That's another thing about Henry serial killer is the texture of the film is grainy and that's how Evil Dead was, you know. So that is my number 3. And number 2, I think we all picked it, The Exorcist.
I didn't think.
I remember me and my friend Yai, man, who's still my friend. He's on Facebook. We've been friends for over 50 years. We used to go to this theater called the Hialeah Cinema. And we walked up to The Exorcist. Yeah, 2 for Exorcist. They let us in. We were little kids. They didn't give a fuck. Hialeah, man. So we're these little kids going in the theater seeing this fucked up movie. And it really traumatized both of us. We were just, I remember I spent the night at his house. And we couldn't sleep, man. It was just the most terrifying thing we've ever seen. And that's my number 2. Number 1 was a movie that I first saw it when it was new in the theater and hated it. I didn't like it. Now it's my second favorite movie of all time and my favorite horror movie of all time, The Shining. Every time I see that damn movie, I spot something new. Every time. One of the last times I saw it, there's a scene where Jack Nicholson is in the lobby of the hotel and they come up and say hi to him. He's sitting there reading a Playgirl magazine. I never noticed that before. And the whole little thing about Indians, it's supposed to be over Indian. And there's a really, really great documentary on The Shining called Room 213?
Yeah. 237.
337.
What a document. It really gets into the details of the movie because that movie was, this guy, Stanley Kubrick, was a stickler. I mean, there'd be scenes that they do like 80 takes and shit. He would drive everybody crazy, but he was a weird perfectionist. That there's a part in The Shining where Jack is yelling at the wife and there's a chair behind them while he's yelling at her. Then they shoot her and then they shoot back to Jack and the chair's gone. And I'm like, Stanley Kubrick is a perfectionist. He must have done that on purpose. Like if there's a ghost in there or something, he would not release a movie where the chair is missing if he did not intend for that to happen. So yeah, The Shining. That movie, I didn't like it as a little kid because I didn't get it. I saw it in the theater, and if I remember correctly, I believe it was a flop when it was in the theater. It was, right, Joseph?
Yeah, and Stephen King hated it.
Yeah, he still hates it.
Yeah.
He liked Dr. Sleep though, because
Yes.
on the Blu-ray of Dr. Sleep, the extras has Stephen King and the director of Dr. Sleep talking about, But I love it. The TV version you were talking about earlier, the plants outside would move. That was part of the book. And, and part of the book is part of the end of Dr. Sleep, how Stephen King intended that movie to end. But
Ron says that documentary is on Tubi if anybody wants to watch that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it.
highly, highly recommend that.
Somebody else said their favorite horror film was Kiss Me Stefan.
Yeah, that was a scary movie.
Devereaux is definitely a top 10 horror villain of all time.
Yeah, you were talking about earlier. You can recite every line. I think I can recite every line of that Kiss Me Stefan movie.
I know a lot of it, unfortunately, as well. Did you ever notice the version that was on the Kissology was the Phantoms version? It's different. It's different scenes.
Oh no,
they cut all Ace's dialogue out.
And then they put all the background music is from the solo albums.
No, but that was the European version.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The European version was like that, but yeah, they cut Ace's, like Beethoven's Fifth is cut out. And it's like, that shit was on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. I mean, Gene and Paul are just such assholes. Oh, cut that part. Cut Ace. Cut Peter. Well, yeah. That was.
We mentioned the Blair Witch in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Blair Witch, the Blair Witch was cool because nothing had been filmed like that before. But it really I got dizzy and almost sick watching it sometimes because you just get motion sickness with it. But I remember when that came out and they did a little documentary that came out before it that they hyped it up like it was really true. Yeah. This had really happened. And, it definitely would get your curiosity up to go check it out before it all came out that, it's all fake,
Yeah.
It got ravaged when it came out by everybody out. It sucked. I really enjoyed it.
I thought
that last scene with the guy looking at the wall.
Right.
Oh man, that blew
It's
my
fucked
mind
up.
when that happened.
Fuck
Yeah,
me up. That
yeah,
fucked
man.
me
That's
up.
the best part of the movie. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what sold it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part two was terrible, but in part two, you did see the Blair Witch. I don't know if you ever seen the Blair Witch in part two. What a freaky looking thing, but that movie was terrible.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Typo's music was in it, so that was all right.
nobody
Alright.
mentioned anything about. What do you guys think of Rob Zombie's movies?
I believe it or not, I really liked his Halloween. I didn't like his
Yep.
Halloween 2.
Halloween 2
thought-
sucked. First one was good.
First one was good, and I like Devil's Rejects a lot.
Oh, Devil's Rejects and the what was the other one called? House for Thousand
House
Corpses. I
for
thought
Thousand Corpses.
they're great because the thing I liked about his films is he brings in all these old character actors that you get people you've seen for years and
Mhm.
throws them in. But I have a friend that just hates everything that he does, and he said, "Man, I don't understand." He goes, "Everything Rob Zombie does, he fills it up with redneck yucks." You know, he and like, you know, he even said that Halloween was there like a bunch of rednecks and stuff. And I'm like, man, this now my friend that says this is from New Jersey. And I said, dude, you didn't grow up in the South. I did. I've seen some wicked shit. I've seen some backwoods shit that would scare your pants off.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I always said Rob used Sean, the bass player for White Zombie, she's from Raleigh, North Carolina originally. I don't know if she's born there, but she lived there for quite a while when they were dating in the early days of White Zombie. And I always said, I know a guy that knows them personally, and they come to his house when they were in town visiting from New York or whatever. And I believe Rob did some backwoods traveling in the South a little bit and just saw some wicked shit because he put it out, he kept it up here.
There was one that he did called Lords of Salem that I really.
Oh,
really
wow, I can't. Yeah, that's whack, man. Some whacked out shit. Yeah. One of my honorable mentions was going to be Evil Dead. I love it. I think it's great, and I liked Evil Dead too. But it was so funny. The whole thing with his possessed hand was just a funny stuff. And one more I was going to mention in my cheeseball category. I'm sure Ralph has seen this. You ever seen Shock 'Em Dead?
No.
So it's got Tracy Lords in it, and it's not one of her pornos, of course, but there's a guy that wanted to be a rock star, and he's played by Stephen Quattros. Do you know who Stephen Quattros is?
No.
He was an LA musician back in the day, but he became like he was an announcer guy for like UFC fighting or something. Later on, but he was in like some LA bands back in the day. But he's the actor. He plays this nerd guy who wants to be a famous guitarist, and he auditions for a band. It's like a total sucky band. He auditions for him and he can't get the gig. So he basically sells his soul to the devil. Your typical story, rock and roll fame story, and he becomes this killer guitarist and joins this band and stuff. But he's like, he's not human anymore. He's got to kill to survive because he's like a vampire type. But Michelangelo Badio from Nitro, and who's in Manowar now, does all the guitar stunts. So anytime you see the hands playing, it's just from like here down, and he does all the guitar stunts.
He's in Man-O-War now?
Yeah, so it's got like one scene where he's like this demonic guitarist, and he's got the double neck guitar, and he's going up, you know. It's a crazy flick. I think it came out like freaking like 1992 or something like that. But yeah. And one more I was going to mention is Return of the Living Dead, which I'll just show. I've got. I love the soundtrack to that. It's great. Yeah, just great film. And like I said, lovely Anna Quigley, and she plays the cool punk chick in there that gets naked and dances on the tombstones.
Bring more paramedics.
Yeah, that was a good storyline on that one too. The way it all came about with the goofballs at the when they let the chemicals get out and, you know, leak out or whatever.
Some things that I thought of while we were doing this. The Strangers. Anybody ever see that movie?
Nope.
Oh my God, it's really good. It's got Dennis, the guy from It's Always Sunny. Mm-hmm. He's in there. They rent a house or whatever. His girlfriend or wife or whatever, and then they just start getting knocks on the door, and then it ends up being nobody there. But then later on in the movie, they come in and they got these masks on. This one guy's got like this burlap sack mask on. The other two people got like these old like 60s, 70s looking masks on them. Ended up doing stuff to them. But really, really creepy movie. Good movie. Amityville Horror House. Nobody mentioned. The movie Get Out. Anybody see that movie?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was another good one. That was actually pretty creepy. But they like subdued that guy, like that boyfriend. The girlfriend tricked him through the whole thing. That was pretty fucked up. And I Spit on Your Grave. Anybody ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a brutal,
Yeah.
brutal movie. Brutal.
Brutal. Both.
Brutal.
I don't know if you ever saw the remake.
No,
Never saw the
I only
remake.
I saw the original.
I saw both. I think the remake is a little bit worse with the one scene where she's in the bathtub with the guy. It's like, oh God, I can't watch that. My wife made me watch that. We were with our friends and she's like, let's watch this movie. And it was like this girl being raped during the entire movie. Like, what the hell are you making us watch? That's just hard to watch, But to see her get revenge on all those guys for what they did to her, I was okay with it, But that movie's fucked up.
I saw one that somebody mentioned in the chat that I actually know Ralph just posted on Facebook a few weeks ago that he watched for the first time, Near Dark.
Oh yeah, that movie's awesome.
Somebody mentioned that one in the chat. It's a great 80s vampire movie.
That is a movie. Somebody gave me that movie. I don't know who, and it was in my collection. I was like, oh, let me watch this. And then when I put it on, not only was I, loving it, but man, when Bill Paxton showed up, one of my favorite actors ever, I was like, oh, Bill Paxton's in this, and man, he steals the movie. He is so good, finger licking good.
Oh, here's one nobody mentioned. Hellraiser.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
That first one's just the
the
best.
first one is brutal. It's in my honorable mentions. There's quite a few.
People mentioned Last House on the Left. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
What were your honorable mentions, Ralph?
Mandy.
All right. Somebody mentioned earlier Race with the Devil with Peter Fonda and what's that guy from the A-Team, whatever his name was. Of course, I have to put in the Universal monsters like Dracula and man, Creature of the Black Lagoon is one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites. A fucked up movie called High Tension.
Yeah.
That movie has like the most brutal kills I think I've ever seen in any movie. It's fucked up. The kills that happen in that movie. It's insane. Creepshow.
Yep. That was one of my honorable mentions.
Love Creepshow. Alien. Joseph brought that up, the first one. Spit on Your Grave. Halloween 3. Dead Alive. Anybody seen Dead Alive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. That's
The lawnmower scene is the best.
Reanimator.
That's a Peter Jackson film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of his early films.
Before Lord of the Rings. That's
Yeah.
right.
Did you ever see the one he did called Bad Taste?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's another brutal.
Yeah, I love that.
Reanimator.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
good.
Reanimator is a classic.
First one for sure.
The Brood. Yeah, any of you seen that movie called The Brood? It's from the 70s. Awesome. Awesome movie.
Never seen it. I've seen posters.
Hellraiser, of course. And final, Basket Case.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
A fucked up movie with that texture.
Uh-huh.
Making it look all gritty.
Ugh.
I'll mention some from Lou Maz because these are his favorite movies. Demons 2. Those are really good. I saw those.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh yeah, I own that. I own Cannibal Holocaust.
I never saw it. I heard it's pretty brutal, so I haven't watched it.
One of my honorable mentions, a great 70s horror movie that none of us have mentioned yet. The first Phantasm movie.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Zombie 2. The first.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's-
Lucio Fulci.
Yeah.
Last House on the Left. Someone said The Hitcher. That was another good
Oh,
one.
The Hitcher's great. Yeah.
Rucker Hauer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many. I'm trying to go through all my DVDs upstairs.
I was saying I'm looking back here.
We were talking about The Exorcist and how people took it at that time when it first came out. Rosemary's Baby came out before that, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that was 68.
But Rosemary's Baby, I found it to be a very, very boring movie until that one scene when they come in and all those people are around the crib. That's the highlight of the movie. The rest of it was just it's kind of boring as crap.
That movie kind of sucked. It was filmed in Dakota where John Lennon got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it was. I remember watching that, and I never went back and watched it. I remember not liking it.
Mm-hmm.
It just dragged, and
yeah,
it was long, and it just wasn't that good.
Another film I wanted to mention that I almost put in my list was a made for TV. Did anybody ever see the Frankenstein movie that was done? It was about like a 2-parter that they used to show on like Sunday afternoon. Sometimes I would see it as a kid, called Frankenstein: The True Story.
No.
And it was like it was done in like I guess it was late 60s, early 70s, but it was he made Victor Frankenstein makes the creature, and he's just a normal looking man. And he's like a really good looking guy. And over time, something went wrong. He starts decaying, and he just, by the end of the movie, he's hideous. And it's like, I mean, that was very terrifying to see him in that state towards the end. Jane Seymour's in the movie as well. I remember she was one of the big names that was in it.
A couple of the ones that I just noticed when I was looking back at my DVDs back here: American Werewolf in London.
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah.
The Howling.
Howling was good. Yeah.
A couple more John.
Some of those later Howling movies are they're horrible.
How did they make like 8 of those?
Oh, somebody mentioned a good one. Human Centipede.
Oh, that was a mess.
Oh wow, yeah.
it was good, but it was so disgusting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eat. Terrible.
Yeah. So I saw someone mentioned the Full Moon movie about the vampire series. I saw it earlier. Somebody had mentioned it. What was it? It was a vampire series of movies. Blood. What was it called?
Why?
They had like a stone, like a blood stone that they would drink from, and that the vampire's name is Radu. I saw it earlier. Somebody mentioned it. Subspecies was the series that I know the first couple were really, really good. Full Moon they made some whacked out films. I mean, it was a lot of just TNA in their stuff, but they had a few good ones.
Freaking Twilight. Oh.
Castle Freak was a good one that they did.
And nobody mentioned Carrie.
Oh, Carrie.
And of course they did. Full Moon did like the Demonic Toys and Puppet Master and those films as well.
You guys ever seen a movie called Magic?
Man, that freaked me out when I was a kid. And I never even saw the movie. They just showed that freaking ventriloquist dummy doing that abracadabra thing, and that was the commercial, and I was like freaked out by that, man.
Great movie, man. Burgess Meredith, Anthony Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. That's it.
And Margaret's in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dress to Kill.
Yeah.
Suspenseful movie.
And damn it, I'm gonna count it. Phantom of the Paradise. God,
yeah.
I'm gonna count it.
I expected that to be Ralph's number one, but
I didn't even think to count that as a horror movie. But
do you know? You probably knew this, that Led Zeppelin stopped them using Swan Song. They had to move it. Yeah, because there's scenes like the podium. It says something else. I forgot what it said.
Death Records.
Death Records. But it was originally called Swan Song. And Peter Grant put a stop to it.
So they were using Swan Song before Zeppelin came up with the label?
No.
They had filmed it before.
Oh, okay.
They filmed it, and then they found out Zeppelin owned it. So they had them take it out. I have the version with Swan Song. I have the original version.
The fan edit. I have the same fan edit.
Yeah, my guitar player got it offline. So awesome to see. And there are little 1, 2, 3 second clips that aren't in the original movie in that newer version. But yeah, that's like I told the story before. Phantom of the Paradise came out. Me and my friend, we had nothing to do. It was a Sunday. Went to the theater and just so happens that was showing. Went in, watched it, loved it. We went back the next Sunday to see it again. It was gone because it was a flop. It only lasted a week in the theater. And I didn't see
What year was that?
1974. Long time ago. And I bought the vinyl back then. I bought the soundtrack. And anyway, so fast forward till 1982 or 3, MTV showed it on a Sunday night. And that I VCR'd it. And then, got it after that. But that was a movie that movie and Death Race 2000 is another one.
Yeah.
I tell people about, and I didn't see it for years and years and years and years. Death Race 2000 is awesome, which I recently found out Wendy Dio.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah.
She's like the masseuse.
Yeah, there's a scene where Sylvester Stallone's getting rubbed down. She's in the movie for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Wendy Dio. I was like, because when she was talking about it, they showed the scene. I saw the Dio documentary in the theater, and they showed that scene. I was like, oh my God, that's Wendy Dio? I know that scene very well.
So
Yeah.
Ralph, have you ever met Paul Williams?
Yes, twice. The first time I met him, I was kind of shy though, but I did tell him I like Phantom of the Paradise. Was a little kid and they filmed Smokey and the Bandit Part 3,
Right.
and I ended up in the movie. And
Yeah.
then Gloria Estefan's son flew in Paul Williams to a theater where they showed Phantom of the Paradise, and I just played a gig. Me and my band played a gig, and we ran to the theater, and I got to talk to Paul Williams. I took a picture with him, and yeah, what a nice guy. And he is very short, man.
Have you seen that documentary about him?
Yeah, that I'm not dead yet, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like huge in India or somewhere.
Yeah. One of the first comments I remember I ever left on your channel, Ralph, was about the Blu-ray copy of this movie. And it was on one of the old Ask Dr. Fucks years and years and years ago. And then I remember when I was in college, when I started sending you the Nazareth CDs, one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given was when you sent me a vinyl copy of the soundtrack from this movie.
That's right. And it had a little
The little sticker on the front.
for like the Academy Awards or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was a time, man, if I saw Phantom of the Paradise in a store and I already own it, I'd buy it again. Then I found there was only 1,000 copies made of a 180-gram version, white vinyl of Phantom of the Paradise. And that cost me a pretty penny, but I had to buy it, because I'm fanatical, because I was a little kid, 1974. I would wear out that freaking album, But yeah, man.
Speaking of horrible B movies, has anybody ever seen Monster Dog with Alice Cooper?
Yes, I own it. I own it. Very bad.
Alice told me once that, I think it was the first time I met him, I asked him about it. He said that they lost that's not his voice in the movie, that they lost the original audio track and that's somebody else's voice. But man, you watch it, it's his voice, man. I think he is confused.
Yeah, look, I love Alice. But Alice, maybe he's confused about that, but Alice does lie. I mean, I've seen a lot of interviews in line, and then when I met him, I had him sign my Killers album, that the original one with the calendar. And when I had him sign it, he goes, "You see this picture here? The picture of him hanging."
Yeah.
Yeah, that picture was hanging in the White House during the Nixon administration. And I was like, "Come on," Of course, I didn't say it in front of him. I was like, "Oh, really?" Then afterward, like, Alice is full of shit, isn't it? Like, he tells these stories. He was with Jim Morrison. Wacky shit happened. The Elvis Presley story. You ever heard of Elvis Presley story?
Yeah, I love that. Shoot
met-
it. Shoot. Do it.
He met Elvis. Elvis took him in the kitchen. Goes, "Oh, you're the one with the snakes. I like that. Dig that." Well, check this out. And he takes out a gun, and he gives it to Alice here. And then Alice has the gun. He's like, "Shoot him." He was like thinking, "Shoot him." And then didn't Elvis like get him in some karate pose?
Yeah, took him on the floor. Said he had his boot on his face, and yeah, that's good. Yeah, Alice has been in a lot of films over the years.
Yeah,
You know?
I was just watching John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness last week.
Yeah,
And
he
he's in
yells
that.
it out of the mic.
Yeah,
I have a movie that the original Alice Cooper band were in a movie called Diary of a Mad Housewife. They're performing in it, like, and it's before Love It to Death, so it's
Wow.
so it's like
you're
the
in
it's
there-
like the Frank Zappa era.
yeah, and they're in a scene performing at a party. Yeah,
Wow. I
crazy.
don't-
But yeah, he played Freddy Krueger's dad.
Yeah,
yeah.
He was in
in
Prince
one of the
Darkness.
worst in one of the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he's hung out with Groucho Marx and what's his name, Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lived a life, man. Al.
Yeah, man.
I think so.
I just like all those old. You see those old videos, interviews with Alice back in the day, and every time he's always got a Budweiser in his hand, like wherever he's at. Like, was that one interview where he's in a running, he's in like a race or something, and they're interviewing him, and he walks up holding a can of Budweiser, man, after he's run a marathon. You know,
Yeah.
the
Would you
'70s,
buy-
man.
would you buy a
Marlboro
used
Budweiser.
car? He's like, would you buy a used car from this guy? He's all messed up and shit.
Yeah.
You gotta love Alice. All right, guys. Well,
Alice is
this
awesome.
was an awesome episode. Thank you, Joseph, for joining us. That was awesome. And next week, if all goes to plan, we're gonna have Martin Popoff with us, and we're gonna be talking about Thin Lizzy.
Top 10 Thin Lizzy songs.
Yeah, I'm gonna write Martin and tell him to write down 10 songs.
Yeah, cool.
Let's go into that, and we should also do top 5 Thin Lizzy albums.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be great. So tune in next Thursday. And I want to thank you, Tony, Wayne, Joseph. You all rule. And everybody out
Thanks
there
for having us.
watching. I'm sorry I couldn't see the chat, but Wayne saw it and Wayne took care of the majority of it.
Yeah,
I
everybody's
want to
good.
thank you all for joining us. So thanks again, guys. And until next week, everybody, smack 'em a gob.
Bye.